You know, you confiscate a few $1 billion out of private bank accounts and you print a couple $1 trillion, and all of a sudden, you know what happens? People start to worry. So out of this worry, we have something called the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an electronic online digital currency. Was created about 3 years ago. It kind of flew under the radar. Now it's starting to actually gain some traction. You exchange your dollars, you exchange your euros, whatever. You go onto these networks, and it's an accepted currency, and it's zooming in value lately. Just unbelievable how much this has taken off. And there are places that are beginning to actually accept this sort of universal digital currency. Kind of operates in the shadows. Not regulated, but it's a total outgrowth of people starting to get worried about these currency crises, debt crises. Where are these things accepted? Still not a lot of places. I checked out online, not a lot of websites that you would recognize, but the places are kind of novelty clothing, gaming sites, yeah, wait for it, porn, some of those places. But, you know, there are a lot of drawbacks, there are a lot of fears that I'm sure that our guests are going to talk about, but this tells you how really insecure people are in this age of debt and currency crises and all the other things that we have going on in the world.
First, I have to give Bitcoin creators credit. At least they know enough not to trust fiat money that's controlled by our government. But they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and they've come up with a flat tire. We already have a perfect, real form of money, and it's called gold. Money has to have 4 elements. It has to be very rare, indestructible, divisible without losing its purchasing power, and cannot be increased by fiat. And Bitcoins fail on the first 2. They are not rare, and they are very much destructible.
Had PayPal invented Bitcoin, we'd all be heralding it as the most important financial revolution since the internet, or since the credit card, perhaps. And I guess I would say, as for those first 2 points, as to it being destructible and rare, I guess I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, gold is only rare because it's physically scarce, but right. Bitcoin is rare because it counts on the scarcity of CPU time. And so, I think likewise, as to destructibility, I think that's also sort of in question.
What are the chances of someone coming up with a counterfeit Bitcoin, and they present that to an end user, and they're accepting this phony Bitcoin?
I guess the chances would be astronomically low, and that's the whole design. I mean, the way that you create a Bitcoin is that you basically have to find a larger, rare number, bigger than any of the other Bitcoin out there. And so every Bitcoin, the next Bitcoin is even harder to create. And so I'd say right now it requires vast amounts of CPUs, generally through Amazon Cloud and things like this, to create the next Bitcoin. So it'd be exceedingly impossible or exceedingly difficult to create a counterfeit Bitcoin.
So hacking Bitcoin could be a problem, but what about someone coming up with a counterfeit that end users don't recognize as being counterfeit, and that eroding the purchasing power of all existing Bitcoin?
Yeah, you guys, I guess one of my concerns here too is that, you know, there's a lot of stories about drug dealers using these kind of things, and I think it's just a matter of it's not regulated, it's not controlled.
The whole Bitcoin market is about $1 billion. It's a novelty for the geek squad. I can assure you, if these became well promulgated, that the U.S. government would shut it down.
And just to give our viewers some perspective, there's about $4 trillion in currency trading every day, and as Michael said, it's about $1 billion worth of Bitcoins. It has quintupled in value over the last year. Just since the Cyprus thing came up, it's up over 20%. Over the last month, or about a couple months, it's up over 40%. So it's actually getting some visibility out there. Again, you can go online and go to places where Bitcoins are accepted, and there are dozens of places, no websites that you would actually, that you know, if I said them, oh yeah, I know that, but it's just going to be very interesting to see just how much this catches on. It just sounds so silly, but maybe it's not.
David, how much of your wealth will you place in Bitcoins? What percentage would you?
I guess I believe that for any sort of a highly diversified portfolio, something like Bitcoin is going to play an increasing role.
But it could be wiped out in a nano. If it is widely promulgated, and the exponential increase of someone trying to hack it, because there'll be many more people trying to hack it, goes up.
Well, I guess you're assuming that merely that because you can theorize the possibility that's going to happen, I would say.
Your purchasing power can be wiped out in a nanosecond, and that's why it would never be widely accepted in this country.
I hear you say that, but that doesn't make it true. And I think that there are people who spend a lot of time on this that might know this topic maybe a bit more and who would believe in it.